Cobra Kai season number 4. So everyone's doing their parts to culminate this Johnny, Daniel, Eagle Fang, Miyagi-Do team up to take on a madman in Kreese's Cobra Kai. Just wait till Silver shows up. Ooh, little do they know. If Tori's the shitstorm, Silver, the things are about to get biblical plague of Egypt, like. I was thinking the whole time, is Mike Barnes coming with? No. Not this season, anyway. Okay. I was like, Chosen and Ally returned last season, why not? But, anyway. Season 4, Episode 1, let's begin. Aptly named. Gotta love when they always started with that. Boop. Hey, a long time. Boop. Fancy house, but, a much older Terry Silver from behind is all alone in it. And judging by how quickly he hung up there on John Kreese, probably prefers it that way. Meanwhile, Daniel and Johnny, of course, clashing already with their ideals on how karate should be taught. 2 cooks, 1 kitchen. All in that one backyard. Daniel starts to lose his patience and his dojo when students are taking the Eagle Fang way of doing things. Clashing, not meshing, basically. Over in the Cobra Kai camp, Tori's pissed because they lost that big LaRusso house invasion and takes down the other Cobras. Miguel just gets out of this wheelchair and kicks your little ass, Kyler? Huh? They're all pissed at the arriving Robbie, who I guess thought twice about joining Cobra Kai? Maybe he slept on... Literally. You know, I'm not going to be a pawn in this. Kreese lays it on. You know, your dad, instead of coming back to Cobra Kai, chose Diaz over you. You're no pawn, you're a king, and so on and so forth. See what I mean about the pieces? Oh, so now the LaRussos finally get alarms for their house. Forgot to mention last season the little brother LaRusso came back from camp looking quite thin. Fat camp, maybe? Could be a LaRusso gene kicking in and not so much ugly duckling anymore. Still a prick, though. Amanda is fit to be tied with all that extra security. Yeah, if you told me a year ago my children's safety hinged on winning a tournament, I'd have thought you were joking. Daniel pitting hopes on Sam to win. We know it's going to culminate Sam Tori. That ain't over yet. We're getting a little, we're going to get a little of that all season, too. Things get awkward with dinner at Johnny's with the family Diaz. Miguel does not know about him and Carmen yet, so he's like, oh man, he's not the only one they got back together with his ex. And he's talking about him and Sam. And, yeah. Ooh, circumstances, Carmen later asking Johnny to give things time. So now Kreese has decided to pay a personal visit to a more reclusive-looking Silver, or not? He's with this woman named Cheyenne at a fancy party. As Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do space out a little bit more at the LaRussos, Tori gets to talk to Robbie at the Cobra Kai dojo. Yeah, I didn't see you at the fight. Clearly, she's personally got it for Sam. You, Robbie, upgraded from running away to hiding, and you still speaking up for Sam? If you want defense, you're in the wrong dojo. Kreese does not approve, meanwhile, of Terry's cool new friends. Robbie's not the only one having issue fitting in a new dojo. Hawk going through the paces, getting swept on, and being the practice dummy for other students. He's still gotta earn his way back, as far as Johnny's concerned. The other Miyagi-Do students want nothing to do with him. Dimitri might. Tries to go to Daniel, but while having a talk with Johnny about him loud enough to disrupt the meditation he's doing, they argue again and split. Daniel tells Hawk after he talks about not fitting in Eagle Claw, he's like, yeah, no kidding. You burned every bridge here. Hawk runs off. It's like, oh, jeez. Later on, Johnny telling Miguel back at the apartments, I knew this wouldn't work. You know, I thought hating Kreese would be enough, being the only thing we got in common. Miguel with the Rocky 3 talk, the whole Apollo thing, like, him and Apollo put their differences aside in history and won over their common enemy. Johnny's all, why can't LaRusso be Apollo? Miguel's like, we're saying what we're all thinking, basically. You know, Apollo's the type to strike first, like you. Makes him more badass. Like, of course Johnny's Apollo, come on. Think about it. Cobra Kai, Creed. We're up on 3 movies of those so far. Coincidence? Now Sam tries to Now Sam tries to tug Robbie the other way after they meet. Robbie's old, you chose Miguel, my dad chose to be a drunkard who now wants to fix things so he can feel better. Sam's thinking, if you come back to Miyagi-Do, things are gonna go better. We can fix things, so on and so forth. Robbie tells her, not gonna happen. I know you're not used to hearing this often, but you're not getting what you want. Sam's like, all right, but remember, that was your decision. Kreese trying desperately to snap Terry back to his old Part 3 self. Help me win this tournament thing. Yeah, the Terry I knew would have roundhouse kicked that four-eyed geek you're partying with for calling Cobra Kai cute and a phase, and your partner in the LaRusso and Lawrence. Silver says no, realizing the insanity he was filled with in Part 3. I got my head clear, I'm good now. Kreese doubts that, and what's also not happening is Daniel trying to bring Johnny on Miyagi-Do. Johnny's all, why can't you join Eagle Fang? He's like, oh yeah, that karate thing. I took it for 2-3 weeks in a park? They're both too stubborn and can't get past arguing. So it's like, well, we gotta break the bad news to the students then. While Kreese is away trying to win Silver over, Robbie again spends a night in the dojo. Decides, all right, I'm gonna take control here. I'm done with these, finally choosing a path. Looks at all Cobra Kai. You want me gone? You land one shot at me and I'm out. As I figured, Robbie's the secret weapon, using the defensive techniques of Miyagi-Do to go through everybody. Tori's only shot in is the post attack. She gets like a judo flip in, so Robbie's like, I'm out of here. She's like, no, stay. Yeah. Game recognize game, real recognize real. Or in so many words, I'm thinking like, oh, you grew up here and chose a fucking side. Okay, I'll roll with you then. As long as you're wearing Cobra Kai banner. Robbie more a silent storm, but throw some shit on there and do some damage nonetheless. Hawk with a sledgehammer knocks down the storage area of the Miyagi Dojo. Decided, we're gonna build this new sparring deck to practice upon, so there's more room to spar in. Since they're all, wow, you guys did all this? That's awesome. And they forget their thing that they forget to deliver the bad news. And it's just like, you know what, let's work on this. Yeah, they're coming together with or without us. We gotta... Robbie making a big speech about how he gave the Cobra Kai things some thought. But you gotta look in the mirror sometimes to realize who we really are, as even Silver does as such. A lot of reflecting. To beat the enemy, you'll learn their playbook. I'm gonna teach you all Miyagi-Do karate, so you can beat Miyagi-Do karate. They're all warmed up, Sensei Kreese. As that Quicksilver starts turning, little by little. I feel like Kreese is very Eggman. Like a lot of those later games was like the Sonic Adventure and stuff like that. It's like, I'm going to wake up this eldritch evil by poking it with a stick. Science. Or, chaos by a lizard, that sort of thing. A new chess piece enters in episode 2, First Learn Stand. New kid getting a phone call playing some Minecraft-like PC game onto his first day of school, getting bullied for dancing in public. Ooh, and little brother LaRusso's one of the ones joining in the two, saying, Another kind of different layer on the LaRusso is the real bully. It's like, I thought you were done, and then you decide to, same concept, new recipe. It's like, all right, what'd you do to this one? It tastes different. It's like, I know it's the same dish, but special sauce, paprika flakes. It's I'm gonna keep putting this till I find out. Okay, all right, I can get used to this. Daniel and Johnny feel like, okay, maybe we should learn a little bit of each other's styles. Amanda about to make another aggro mistake, like she did with Kreese showing up unannounced at Tori's day job to tell her, stay away from my daughter. She's the only reason I didn't go to the cops for the damages to house and my daughter. Tori gets loud enough while another customer asking to see her more than once, so indirectly gets her fired. So LaRusso taking something else away from Tori, probably her headcanon. So yeah, not exactly calm for the storm, but it's starting to fuel it again. Anyway, this new kid we saw earlier named Kenny dunks on the kid LaRusso, Anthony, during gym class. It doesn't take too well to a taste of his own medicine, of course, meeting a new girl also named Leah. Johnny being shown all the Miyagi-Do techniques. Paint the fence side to side. Johnny gets impatient, still thinking offense is better than defense, so Daniel reminds Johnny Miyagi-Do is what saved Johnny from Kreese twice in 30 years, no less. And to accentuate that point, shing! Bottle cut. Ain't nobody more badass than Mr. Miyagi. Johnny's like, alright, point made it, back to the painting. It's like, damn, alright. Miyagi ain't as soft as you think it is, sir. Johnny would probably punch the bottle. Daniel? That's precision. And precision is more badass than brute strength. Anybody knows this, and certainly Johnny does too. So it's like, alright, back to the painting. Let's see if I can... Alright, I'll finish up here. Speaking of Miyagi-Do training, Robbie showing wax on, wax off. Miyagi-Do is precise to counterattacks. Kreese adding on, like, their style's reactive. We just need to make it so they can't react. Block a motion, pivot to sweep on Tori as well. Tori taking the exercise, but still really pissed she just lost her job, and that can only end badly once Kreese finds out what happened with that. I'm like, oh no. So this Kenny kid's all by himself at the house. Mom working at the office, getting a call from Army Dad, thinking about something that happened to Kenny's bigger brother. You know, you're the man of the house. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but that's where we're at. Apparently, Leah liked the online game shirt that Kenny had on when they first met. It continues as a friend request when he goes back to play the game after his call with Dad ends. So I'm like, okay. Johnny learning the basics of Miyagi-Do, takes a bath off the circular thing, where you do the circle training. How is any of this gonna be used in an actual fight? Daniel says Miyagi always says the best defense for a fight is no be there. Real strong laugh out loud moment, legitimate for me. I was like, wow, yeah. Johnny says, you mean don't be there? You know, he teaches you all this, like, decades or centuries of karate or whatever. You can't help him with his English. I feel like that would have been, like, a deleted scene in the movie. It's like, you know, Daniel tried to, movie one, LaRusso into it, and Miyagi would have been like, what's problem? Like, I don't know, never mind. I should have known better. Oh, noes. The person on the other line turns out not to be Leah. It's LaRusso. Getting goaded by him and his cool new enabler friends to show up at some place in full cosplay of his game's favorite character. Kreese with the guilt trip of letting Amanda at the supermarket know about how Tori, you know, she's not so fortunate and doesn't even have a mother to defend her. At least not one well enough to do it. Perfect Kreese. He, a little bit of his own, like, seems like he's starting off trying to be sympathetic, and then he jerks the wheel into the veiled threat of consequence at the end of that little visit. It's like, you know, even go for, like, you know, the TOP's for you, really, anyway. Like, should it work both ways? I've never been served a TOP, I couldn't say. Now it's Johnny's turn to teach Daniel, Eagle Fang, work at that coal mine. You know, you can't... I would have loved it if he said, you can't be so damn passive all the time. Like, ooh, imagine that callback. Shovel this coal, climb this chain like a rope in gym class. You know, Eagles lead, they don't wait for the enemy to come to them. They're not always gonna go the way you go. Fights don't always go the way you want it to. Even with the 50 push-ups on his knuckles. But Daniel killing it near the end. It's like a whole montage, and then he's like, ah. Poor Kenny, though. Shows up for the teasing, and then they're about to rough him up. Other main bully's like, come on, use that karate stuff you learned. Come on, Lapusso, hit him. Ooh. For Johnny to have been a fly on that wall. Maybe movie one. Now I think he, like, respects Amanda too much to use that on. No, never. Like I said, that woman a queen. They mirror the climbing the fence from the first movie as Kenny breaks away. Like, ain't none of those kids climbing a fence. Yeah. Anthony getting clearly strung along, kind of like older sis Samantha in season 1, but yeah, the poor Kenna. Just crushed and devastated. Johnny and Daniel take in a hockey game. Training's only just begun, LaRusso. Dan sees an obvious spearing from a player right in plain view. Dan's like, whoa, that's at least a double violation. Johnny's like, yo, ref, you didn't see that blatant spearing? Ref put the player in the penalty box. He's pissed. Johnny's like, yeah, hey, he called it. I'm just trying to help my friend here. Yeah, your friend doesn't mind his own business. My friend will whoop your ass. Daniel's like, no. Like, he's just so goddamn drunk, please. Don't listen to him. Doesn't want to fight till that one guy shows up with his friends. And talking about, oh, hey, that's that LaRusso guy. That wife's a real piece of, shit's on. It's like, Johnny, where'd you go? Nobody there. But yeah, Dan, what was it, like 5-on-1, 6-on-1? Just takes them all out. Because they're like nameless hockey goons, and Daniel LaRusso's like the deuteragonist, so... Amanda recognizes what happened. She tries to do a gesture of kindness for some extra food they left at Tori's house, but she takes that as, like, a handout, and the last thing she wants is somebody as strong-willed as Tori. Especially from the woman who got her canned in the first place. Probably about 24 or less hours ago. Feeling the anti-Miyagi-Do flames, whether she wants to or not. Speaking of things about to get worse, Kenny's the new butt of everyone's jokes at school. He meets Big Bro at Juvie. It's the main bully that was hassling Robbie. Kenny's like, one of my bullies even knows karate. Big Bro says, is that right? Well, I know a guy. All but probably points him in the direction of the Cobra Kai dojo. I don't know if he knew that or not about him, but maybe he just knows Robbie and just like, look for Robbie. Maybe just start asking questions all Shenmue like, do you know any Robbie Keens? Like sailors. Okay. That was First Learn Stand. Episode 3 is Then Learn Fly. Miyagle-Fang. Getting along. I don't think that's even mine. I think somebody else pointed out, like Dimitri or something. Both sides learning from one another. That kind of continues with their students. Staying for dinner, inviting Carmen too. No tension between the two senseis. It's all really light joking, like, friends or close relatives. Oh, and I'm loving it. They broed out through training. Johnny surprised the growth spurt of Anthony. He's like, still an asshole, I guess. Of course, as parents, they get to talking about college. Miguel might want to go to Stanford, but that's, of course, pricey. There's this local college. Carmen would rather see him go there, in contrast to Sam being a LaRusso and, of course, getting the lion's share of the picks. College he wants to go to. Later on, Miguel's like, what if they're not so acceptive of me dating Sam? But yeah, the students are going to switch off schools today. Eagle Fang has got to make, like, bears and catch koi with their bare hands in that little circular pond thing. See if they can strike first on a very fast swimming fish. While the Miyagi students are with Johnny. I gotta break them away a little bit from that wait and see method. Eagles fly. So jump from one rooftop to another. Of course they think this is a horrible idea. It's like, what if we fall? That's why I put the mattresses down there. What if we whisk the mattresses? Try not to. It's like, this Dimitri kid again? I'm like, of course. But yeah, no, this is like, dude. Like, no one, Johnny's like, no one lives here till someone, I get a jumper. That's what I'm trying to say. Sam kind of leading that whole congregation. It's like, I guess you're going to be waiting here a long time then. Kenny's first audition with the guy's not going well either. Zero training, he gets matched up with Kyler to see if he has that killer instinct that Kreese is looking for. He gets intimidated right off the mat, and Kreese with the All Valley tells him, no time for cowards. Robbie even feeling a little dejected. He's like, you got in there looking for him. He's like, he's right here. You know this guy? He's like, yeah, I knew your brother. And tries to talk to Kreese, like, I'll give this guy a chance. This brother whipped my ass a couple times. Miguel gets a call. Carmen's gonna be late picking him up for whatever, I think after school or something like that. So Daniel's like, oh, car trouble? Miguel explains. Daniel's offered to help, and Miguel's like, no, I did not want charity, but relents in the end. Daniel and Miguel, Johnny and Sam, the latter of which finally get that long overdue talk about the accident back in the very first episode. You smashed my car with your friends, got drunk, and that was byproduct of your dad kicking in my door. She's like, I'm trying to keep an open mind, but this is clearly insanely dangerous. Our dad wouldn't want us doing this. It's like, you're going to do everything your dad tells you? If I did what my folks told me to do, I'd be staring at the clock waiting for the day to end at some job I don't like. Now I get to do this. And every day I love doing this. Trying to help other kids find their way. It's no sweat off my back if you always want to ride backseat. Cobra Kai class closes up, in comes Silver. Turn around, you son of a bitch. Drudging up my past. Messing with my head. Kreese is all, if you're vicious with your past, it means you probably have unresolved issues. You lock those memories of war away. You're here because you looked in the mirror and you saw a man on his last legs of life. Some retired old man. I trust you more than anyone else to help me win this thing. Those bad memories, I got them too. We survived because we held on together. You know you want to finish things or you wouldn't have come all this way here. Yeah, clearly wavering Silver already. They're very impassioned argument. He's like, why can't you just let sleeping dogs lie? This isn't my fight. Even getting in Kreese's face with some karate. I shouldn't have come here, but you did. You came here now, you'll probably be back later. Like I said, poking the... So now Kenny feels like Robbie's responsibility. You know, shows up at his house dropping the school bag Kenny dropped when he left the dojo. They find out more history about Big Bro went to jail for booting down some thief who stole from Mom and Dad. I thought they were going to go for me. He was just defending me, and with him gone, I got nobody. Seeing another case of bullying on the phone, like a milk spills out all over it when he opens his locker. Mommy's like, all right, I'm going to show you some moves, try to toughen you up. Still being a flincher and running away. It's like the only thing I can really do is run. Like, oh, you run fast, use that. Just close the distance. Speed towards instead of away. Daniel talking more history with Miguel, getting him in the dealership to aid in fixing a car. Might be his car, might be working up towards that. You know, maybe it'll be a nice surprise for Carmen. He's like, oh, you fixed this, Miggy. Oh. Daniel's all, I didn't even get to go to college. Ma saved money. I blew that on the Okinawa trip. And thanks to one ice break, I got more money than when I left. And then that money went to the bonsai shop, Things aren't always so straight line. Don't go with your opponent expects. Life's a little more, life and martial arts is kind of more of a circular path. Yeah, I guess more or less you gotta, eye or six it sometimes. It's like circular. It's like looking all around. It's like, okay. Meanwhile, Sam finally makes the effort and, more importantly, the jump. So it's like, yeah, they're bonding with the other. Silver flashback of I doubt anyone. I think she was the only one. I don't think anyone else was taken. Silver flashback of a side chest tattoo of a Cobra the old man version doesn't have anymore. It's still this really big pink spot, so maybe it just never healed all the way. Like, even in the flashback, Kreese trying to convince Silver it was just like a bad rash or something like that just never healed all the way. It's pink even there. It's like, oh, man, this hurts. Dad wants me to leave karate and nom behind, or he'll cut my funding. But even then, back then, he gets convinced by Kreese. Go with the dojo. It's under 18 All Valley. I can't do this without you, man. I didn't leave you behind then or now. We started this. We gotta finish it. Cobra Kai never dies. Current Silver getting the ponytail in order as the violin music plays. I'm like, oh shit, we're getting it. Holy shit, this is happening. This is not a this is not a drill, people. Like I said, I told you the shitstorm. It's about to get biblical. He kind of looks like Michael Keaton Vulture evil, but still real doe-eyed in certain lighting. With the long hair, he started looking like Kill Bill David Carradine in a way. Johnny taking his own advice of making the first move. I can't do slow Carmen. I know there's stuff to figure out, but I'm ready to take that plunge. I just came to let you know that. Carmen says, okay. In front of, I guess she invited Mom into a bridge club or something like that, or whatever. Johnny being Johnny says, like, oh, whatever. He doesn't shy away from what he wants. Kenny, with that second shot at the Cobra Kai dojo, gets in a quick one on Kyler after scaring him off the mat again at first. Kreese is like, okay, take your spot. As Miguel gets the inspiration idea at the pond to get into the water itself, not hang on the top of that little circular thing. He gets in there. It's like, all right, walk this circular path, walk along with the fish, and yoink! Tenseness emerges as that earns Miguel the Miyagi-Do headband and running the class for a week. Johnny sees all this goes down. He's like, what the hell? Season 4, Episode 4, Bicephaly. A fancy term for someone or something with two heads. The junior high kids with Kenny taking the field trip to the high school we all know throughout the seasons. He notices, oh, you got a little strawberry yogurt on your shirt there. It's like, oh, I thought it was part of the design. It looks nice. It's like, all right, well, now I gotta wash up in the bathroom. I could have gotten bullied even worse there. Instead of Leah's late teasing being teehee. Runs afoul of the older kids all, oh, you got a lot of nerve wearing that Cobra Kai shirt around here. Hawk even stops him and grips him up. Tori's not the only one not the only shitstorm they're stirring up, man. Shit. Hawk, yeah, literally grips him up and telling him, Cobra Kai's going down. I get away from those snakes while you still can. Johnny's all, aw, I remember when Miguel used to call me Sensei. Looking away during all that in a striking exercise that Dimitri just kicks him right in the face. Like, oh dude, I'm sorry. Next scene he's all tied up as like a literal punching bag. I'm off the Dimitri hit bandwagon. Johnny briefly back on. Kreese even going a full on, that's my purse, I don't know you. Ding. I'm like, oh man, you might have had that coming, but damn. Ooh. You got hands to like protect yourself or check to see if they're okay until like a little after on. Speaking of senseis, Silver and the Cobra Kai Black. Gotta love Johnny again here, talking to Carmen, a little unfocused, doing the do, but LaRusso showed Miguel Top Gun? Fucking Tom Cruise. Iceman's the shit. Who calls himself Maverick anyway? You don't call yourself Maverick, gotta earn that. Didn't even earn a spot in Miramar. Got goose killed too. I'm like, yeah. He's worried about letting Miguel know about them. He was all gung-ho for this, but at the same time now it's like, I don't want things to get awkward. Foreshadowing. Miguel's like, oh, Mom's dating again. I just hope it's nobody scummy getting the car fixed with Daniel. Even lets him drive the car out for a little bit. Supervised, of course. Like, you treat this car like my daughter. You gotta keep things safe. You don't speed up on a yellow light. You gotta trying to unlearn some of the more Johnnier aspects. Tori's got it bad at her new job to replace the first one. At the dojo, she didn't even want Robbie to know. Like, damn girl, he's just making conversation. But yeah, that storm's already turning. Ooh, it starts out like, showtime, ladies, in 5 minutes, like looking really skeevy, like in front of a mirror. I'm like, no, what are you doing? No, it's this kid's birthday party. She's dressed like a mermaid in this like purplish pink wig for a little friend of the LaRussos, a repeat customer for the auto. So it just so happens Sam and Amanda are there to chaperone. Sam enjoying herself. It's like, a little bit at Tori's expense at least. Robbie trying to teach Kenny about knowing the moves isn't enough unless you have good balance. In comes Silver with the first rule of Quicksilver. It's like, yeah, of course. Man can't stand, he can't fight. He's gonna be off his meds now to be direct contact sparring with fucking Robbie. You channeled that anger. You're still hesitant. You still got some kind of fear that you need to conquer. Anyway, the foreshadowing for Johnny not wanting to tell Miguel, like, really sad babby Johnny. Like, oh, I couldn't sleep. Remember the time his mom got old man Sid to propose? New daddy. Johnny's like, no, I want my old daddy. Runs upstairs, has a box of his old dad's things in this, cardboard box under his bed, including the beer, the Coors Banquet he drinks now. Oh! 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 Is that does that his only connection? You see, mom's, she's upset, oh, you saved all this, he left us, I'm throwing this away. No, don't do it. I'm getting this out of here, you go to bed. So another just soul-punching layer of not telling Miguel about him and Carmen. I'm like, oh my god! The literal Coors Banquet. More bonding with Daniel Miguel, listening to the softer 80s. Daniel's all, it wasn't all hard rock. Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, Billy Joel, Chicago. Who's Chicago? I'm going to pretend you didn't say that just now. Just wait till Miguel finds about 70 Chicago. 25 or 6-4 just hits different. But yeah, Cetera's still Cetera, man. Miguel lets Daniel in the backstory on his side of things after Daniel mentions, most kids had their dads to teach them how to drive. I was lucky enough to have Mr. Miyagi. Made me realize that even though I didn't have a dad, someone can fill that void. Miguel mentions, mentions his dad, not knowing a lot about him. He got caught up in something illegal. Mom tried to get him to stop. He refused, so her pregnant with me at the time took Grandma with her to live here. Daniel's all, I hated my mom for moving us to L.A., but as I got older, I learned she did it for my protection. She did it for me. She did the right thing protecting you. Sometimes avoiding conflict's the most heroic thing a person can do. Knock on wood. Sidebar. This rings true with me because I was born in one of the worst neighborhoods, I think, in Philadelphia. Look at old Kensington Avenue. It's the place called Zombie Town now on YouTube. It's gotten worse since I left. High school was coming up. They moved me to New Jersey at the time. I was a little resentful at that because I'm losing all my friends just to move here. But later on, I realized they were getting me out of probably a really bad situation because you go to high school, bullying's a little bit different. There's a little more consequence, and this was still before this is still before 96 when Columbine happened. But looking back, I'm like, you know what? Thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to get that off something I had to get off my chest. That definitely felt that knock on wood moment. Tori getting slightly roasted by Sam while telling the kids a story. Tori gets a bit of revenge having the kids glitter bomb, telling the kids when she's done gloating at her and walks away. She's like, the witch is still about. She's hiding in plain sight. You gotta hit her with this glitter. I'm like, yeah, you had that one coming. I mean, it's not even a real glitter bomb. I've seen that on YouTube. My God, the package thing was getting caked and their whole fucking cars just. Then they gotta wash that off or something like that. I don't know. It's like glue and stuff like that. I don't know if the kids had that. It looked like most of it fell off a Sam when she got it's just kids throwing. This witch, yeah. You got off later than what I initially thought. This is why I wait till I watch it a second time. I get the rough draft and then I get a little more detail with things. Robbie shows up at Johnny's place to tell him Hawk and his friends are messing with this kid I'm helping. You tell him to back down or I'll do what I got to. Johnny says, revenge? That's what Kreese is poisoning you with. Same as me. Robbie's all, well, you trusted him. I'm just using him to get what I want. Johnny says, I know it seems like you're doing that, but you're playing with poison. And again, the biblical storm. But Johnny don't know that. Johnny don't know silver. But he's like, you don't know those. I'm like, yeah, you neither do. Robbie ends with, I've been afraid of becoming like you. Now I'm going to strive to surpass you. Sam, meanwhile, really not done poking the hornet's nest. Like Miguel back with Daniel. They show up for the party as well. Kisses Miguel as soon as they show up in front of Tori. As if this wasn't the fucking impetus for the school fight to begin with.
The caucasity of this bitch.
Tori storms off, probably done with this job as well. Amanda sees all this go down. He's like, all right, I'm sorry about Sam. I'll deal with her. But you can't fault her for having issues after what you did. I know things are tough with your mom. Tori snaps and tells Amanda, I got this. I can handle my own problems. Amanda tries to tell her, okay, listen. world's really not out to get you, no one can help you if you don't let them in. You sometimes just gotta ask for it. Yeah, Tori didn't even let Robbie in on the new job when he asked. She got in Cobra Kai, but never asked for Kreese to help her with that skeevy super. He did that on his own, but Tori definitely running on that DTA don't trust nobody fuel. Stone Cold Tori Nichols, what? Manwich and Jack's Link's Jerky. Can I have dinner at Johnny's house? I'm like, do you have any? I'm gonna have to be that guy that says, do you have anything that isn't like Coors Banquet? It'll soft rockin' sushi dinner with Miguel arriving home, but then going out later with like, Satara, what the hell, man? Satara's nothing. What do you want to talk about, Johnny? Nah, nothing. Go on there with your dude. He's brainwashing my boy. Like, Annie Chicago? Really? Come on. Yeah, I felt this a little bit. My old man raised me on the 25 or 6-4 70s Chicago. And then he, I can't remember the guy's name. I had to look that up. He passed away, but I was like, Satara was there all the time. Damn. The Cobra Kais are watching Bloodsport at the drive-in. Kumite, 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 kumite. I saw that not that long ago. Kenny's the new guy. They're light hazing on him. You know, he's got to be gopher for a while. He's got to go get everybody the movie eats. Robbie tells him, they're hazing because you're the new guy. Builds character, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's just the juvie talking, man. Come on. He spots the Miyagis that made fun of him earlier. Another run-in with Hawk. This time, Robbie and Tori are there to back him up. Miguel and Sam also there, and that whole thing escalates to a meeting on the baseball diamond. It's like, meet us here this time, and so forth and so on. Splish splash, sprinkler bath. So now you're kicking the hornet's nest. This further eggs on the Cobras, and when news reaches the dojo, Kreese is like, this demands retaliation. Silver's like, whoa. You tried that before, remember? And it didn't work. Like, you had all value with 20 new dojos I gave you, and it all went to pot in one judo throw. Kreese dating this all the way back to movie 1, you know. Why he hates Miyagi so much, like, the black eye Johnny got, like, him coming to dojo with that, I wanted to make that old bastard pay. Silver's like, okay, I get that, but now we're the old men. And if we don't learn from our mistakes, we're going to be right back where we started, you know. This isn't about revenge. We got to build strength. We got to take the fears and weaponize them. So we do nothing? I didn't say we're not going to do nothing. Johnny, pissed that Miguel basically pulled a LaRusso from movie 1. Picked a fight and backed down from it and sprayed him with water. It's like, what the hell, man? Johnny saying what I've been saying with Sam, poking the bear. Daniel says, yeah, it was the right thing for Miguel to avoid a conflict. I thought this dojo was supposed to have security now, because in strolls Kreese and Silver. Let's discuss. Bringing us to Season 4, Episode 5, Match Point. Silver says, I'm going to hold moratorium with my students. Daniel's all, piss off, and full on, like, no, I want nothing to do with it. Kreese reveals that Johnny and Daniel stop their teaching if they lose all value, leaving Cobra Kai unchallenged. Like, I had assumed, but I never got confirmation until this conversation here. Like, this was interrupted the first time at the end of Season 3, if you recall. Hence all this focus on wanting to win. So yeah, the professional wrestling loser leaves stip in karate form. Kreese is all, yeah, I told you that LaRusso kid holds a grudge. You know, you tried to talk to him peaceably. Now what? Now we go to work. And with the smile off that arrogant prick's face. You know what you did, Silver. Silver lays it out when he gets back to the dojo. No fighting before the tournament. All that shit they're throwing at you, channel it and make them pay at the tournament. Daniel, of course, pretty, his own little PTSD spookness of the Return of Silver. I'm like, oh my god. Giving Johnny the whole details of movie 3. Johnny's all, so a year after our fight, then they make the defending champ only fight once. That's bullshit. I know, right? Johnny said what we're all thinking multiple times. And this gives, like, Daniel, like, I gotta take control of this in this situation. It's had Johnny less machoed back a little bit. He's like, dude, you had Miyagi pull you back. Like, he's not here now. You can't do this by yourself. You shouldn't have to do this by... Dude, this is... Like, I know he's got you wound up, like, but he doesn't know that much about silver, so he's like, it's just this ancient old guy, like, what? One guy was like, who is this guy? It's like, the kid's looking at it, like, through the creak in the door or something like that. There's, like, a little opening. It's like, who's this Christopher Lambert-looking mofo? It's like, dude, that guy looks like the Highlander. Like, the Highlander. I'm like, yeah. Liu Kang, the Mortal Kombat tournament. I'm like, he's got this. He's Silver Fox Silver, man. He could pull it off. But again, I'm getting more David Carradine in the face and maybe Michael Keaton in the eyes, kind of thing. He's like, I beat him before, and Johnny says, yeah, barely. I'm not backing down from this. I'm not losing my students, especially Miguel. Satara, you can't. One kick 30 years ago doesn't make you the better fighter, and I know more of how to deal with these guys. You can't play defense all day. Dan O'Tart's like, oh, what? They strike first, you strike first, So that boils over. They're all over beers at the... Is that the place where Johnny got kicked out? It's like, is he back in here? I didn't recognize the guy. I'm not sure. Tells the guy, like, yeah, fuck off, buddy. It's like, we gotta settle this All Valley style. First to 3 points, winner takes over the kids' training. Johnny drunk tweeting about the whole thing. Daniel waking up from his drunkenness at the dealership. Amanda's like, our daughter sent us these tweets from Johnny. I thought you two hashed this out. You're not really gonna fight him, are you? Daniel's like, it's just the booze talking. I'm sure Johnny feels just about as dumb about this as I do. I'm like, oh. Cue the Sony Walkman mixtape. Do revelations with the burning heart. Rocky IV soundtrack, my dude. Johnny ain't backing down from a motherfucking thing. He did not puss out in season 1 and let his Cobra Kai to win All Valley. He ain't backing down from this. Like, this is clearly, like, the flashbacks. It's like, okay, it starts the first movie and that sort of thing, and then leading into, like, some of the seasons, it's like, he's taking Miguel away from me, and I gotta right this 3-decade-long wrong. Even down, he's all in down to him, like, relapsing to his older movie 1 ways a little bit. Stealing a guy's, like, scooter's trash. Yeah, I did that. Oh my god. You remember you were up on probation once, right? You gotta rein this up. I'm not reading nothing. Eagle Fang for free. Sam trying to earn a way out of worst character this half season by just kind of asking her dad, what'd you do to wind him up this time? She sent that tweet. He's getting Miguel, but Sam is starting to see Johnny's side of Eagle Fang way, and didn't go about the best way with Tori, but when the sprinkler thing happened, she's like, oh, now you want to throw hands. I'm like, maybe that's instigation, like you want to lay down another building? She was the really one sitting in that car that didn't want the sprinkler fake out. She wanted the fight. She's like, I thought we were doing this. What the fuck? Even if she's got to be the one that started it at the birthday party. Daniel's like, your mom told me about this. I'm not cool about the instigation. Like, what are you doing? At the birthday party, she told me everything. Like, what the hell? She even does a little, like, bottle cap trick, I think, a little. Says, she's new, but she'll get it. But yeah, both Sam and Miguel, they want to learn both styles. Leaving Johnny to have this fight alone. So what, Eagle Fang wins, Miyagi-Do loses? I don't want to stop learning that either. So I guess whoever wins loses. Johnny Macho relapse. Yeah, there's always a winner. That's how fights work. Kreese also kind of clashing with this whole non-retaliation thing at the tournament. Kreese says, always strike first. And Silver's like, no, you did, remember? Saying this over drinks, I guess, to celebrate him, like, welcoming back to the dojo. It's like, no, you already struck first. Robbie Keane. You poached the man's kid and made him one of us. Now you get him all wrapped up in your drama, and it's going to make you lose again. I will admit, lost who I was. You're right about that. We do have a second chance here, but we do this my way. My dog, my homie from the Vietnam War. Kreese and his old friend back again. He's like, all right, let's do this. Daniel not relenting on thinking Miyagi is the only way to go. Johnny a bit more, are you sure you might actually be wrong ever in your life? But if this is how it's gotta be. Miguel and Sam with the red flags and the face us, bow, face each other, bow. Johnny strikes first, gets the point that Sam counts. Now, continuing that, Miguel counts LaRusso's point, takes the lead. Danny using the pressure points. It's like, what the hell is this? I guess that doesn't count as a clean hit or something, because it's like underarm or something like that. It's like, what's this new bullshit? Johnny counters that, and a leg scissors and takedown strike ties it up 2-2. Ooh, double KO. Like one of the kids, I think Kreese has like the webcam. It's like, Johnny's like, go to another angle. I'm like, this is the only angle, man. It's not like multiple cameras in a phone there. No matter how advanced they might be. While this was happening in that time period, Hawk was going for another tattoo. Guys show up, they jump him, hold him down, and shave his head. Like he's got it's got a two-part of that purple mohawk he was going for a bit there. Just like, again, like Silver, they didn't say they would do nothing. Like, you see what happens when you sprinkle with water and this sort of thing. So yeah, Johnny and Daniel, this gets them back in each other's throats again. And so much for Miyagle-Fang. That partnership dissolves. Daniel's worried about how his method is turning Sam into him. Because her anti-Cobra Kai's fired lit in a different way that she doesn't mind whose fuel she's using. Johnny says, don't worry, we're out. Felt more like Freaky Kai Day with the Miguel-Sam thing, am I right? I'm going to start with worst character for this one, which, like I said, is Sam. Instigation leading to more anger rising in Tori. Just real early Yasmin kind of shit. A little bit of shade. Speaking of which, her dad was getting married super far away, so she's going to be missing Demichi for the tournament. But yeah, Sam poking a beard that you knew has mauled you before, right? Like, did you just fucking memory hold the whole school fight? And the whole kissing thing, like, that wasn't, like, if that wasn't the fucking match that lit the powder keg. Like, there's conquering the panic attacks and then going full turn with it to be the aggressor. I felt like she should know better and rein it in, but again, I think that might be Johnny's training a little bit there too, and I get how it might be all too easy to just instigate out of what she did to you at the school while forgetting what brought Tori to that point, Maybe it's the training, maybe it's that LaRusso pride and revisionist history of always having to be right, which already in just 5 episodes and Silver's the best. Far cry from the Saturday morning cartoon coked up villain kind of guy. He even said he was on cocaine. I was hopped up on so much. Oh god, I was so fucking high on cocaine. I threatened like a child in the fucking karate tournament. I'm like, yeah, that tracks. Chris is still stuck in like the past movies as just being like no mercy and something like that. Silver who is seeing Kreese 0 for 2 with this method. I'm like, now this shit ain't working. Revenge needs to be honed to win at any cost, not win at every battle. We just gotta win one tournament. That's it. And that's how Silver is gonna get his revenge. Because he knows he's hurting Daniel and Miyagi from beyond the grave with this loser leaves teaching karate step. Now, you still get that methodical evil to him. The long game. Just like when he was slowly poisoning Daniel to get him to Cobra Kai's way, only to offer him up to Barnes and leave him with nothing. No title, no sensei. Power on, I like the subplot with the little brother Kenny kind of in and out for a little while. Maybe a little bit on that back burner for more than I would have liked. That resolution's coming up, though. Like, him and Robbie are real neat together. Robbie feeling responsible, trying to look out for the kid of the guy he was in juvie with. It's like, okay, he's kind of all by himself out here. I know what that's like. Or is he using him like Cobra Kai for his own benefit? I hope Anthony can fall out of the bad crowd. He does look real conflicted. Like they sound like, do that karate stuff. He doesn't just go in and lunge at him or anything like that. He's clearly the new guy in this bully group and doesn't want to lose his version of season 1 Yasmin. Like, he's I like all these cool he's got all these cool friends and I'm going to lose them by not like taking part in their, clearly egging him on like, come on, the pusso. Power off. The Miyagi-Do's taking to picking a fight on a junior high kid just for wearing a Cobra Kai shirt? Really? That just stuck in my craw. Especially Hawk. I was hoping he'd explain himself better. He kind of heel relapsed a bit for that one. And now that he's been dehawked, he's back to quiet McEli again. So how will this culminate in the All Valley tournament? Find out in the second half of Season 4 Cobra Kai. Until then, take care and don't do drugs. Don't do coke. Makes you do crazy revenge plots. Apparently. Now I want Manwich and Jack's links. Is there a Cobra Kai cookbook? I feel like for... like every LaRusso Miyagi-inspired fancy dish, you get a Johnny Lawrence cobbled together specialty. I'd buy that book.